I wish I could give you better news, but I think you know the truth. And that is that we are now some 300 delegates behind Vice President Biden, and the path toward victory is virtually impossible. So while we are winning the ideological battle, and while we are winning the support of so many young people and working people throughout the country, I have concluded that this battle for the Democratic nomination will not be successful.
So Bernie Sanders is out and Joe Biden is in. Let's see what the DNC can do to defeat Donald Trump in November. This is Real with O'Neill. Let's break this down.
It's real.
So I think the DNC just likes losing every 4 years. Because in 2016 with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, it was kind of obvious to the voters now as to why Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. And it looks like the DNC is about to make the same mistake in 2020. They're backing the wrong candidate. And that candidate is Joe Biden. And let me tell you something about Joe Biden. He is not about to beat Donald Trump in November in the slightest. He's just not. You know, it's become apparent to me that the DNC is not willing to adopt new progressive movements within the party. They don't want to adapt to the ever-changing and evolving political climate that's happening within the United States. Their youth, their largest voter bloc, the 18 to 30 to 35, they don't want to tap into that block. They don't want to tap into those voters for whatever reason. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're saying. Within the primaries, it was kind of underrated or overrated in a sense, with the youth coming out to vote for Bernie Sanders, and a lot of them actually went and voted for Joe Biden. But I would make the assumption, I'm going to make the insinuation that a lot of the voters that should have came out to the primaries didn't, but they are definitely going to come out for the presidential election, or they would have if Bernie Sanders was the candidate for the DNC. But they're not. I've already seen it, and I know that this is anecdotal, but I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on Twitter. A lot of people my age are saying that they cannot get themselves to vote for a man that is essentially the reflection of the corruption of the DNC and allegedly a sexual predator. And here's the difference between Joe Biden's constituents and Donald Trump's constituents. Those are both allegedly sexual predators. Donald Trump, we have absolute proof that he's a sexual predator. However, here's the difference. His base does not care in the slightest. The women conservatives do not care. They're going to vote for him. The base is solid for Donald Trump and not for Joe Biden. And this, the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, is that there's strength and weaknesses within having multiculturalism within the parties. With the Republican Party being more homogenous, white, evangelical or Christian belief traditional, they typically move, the herd moves in one direction more often than having more splinters within the Republican Party. Whereas the Democratic Party, obviously having a different and a diverse ethnic makeup with different ideologies, gay, straight, women, a lot more women within the Democratic Party than the Republican Party, you're going to see different perspectives, and you're going to see fringe groups, you're going to see splinter groups within the party. And so there's strengths within that. I believe that is a more direct reflection of the makeup of the United States. However, whenever you have any type of divergence within the party, you can't push everyone in the same direction. And I believe that Bernie Sanders was more capable of doing that than Joe Biden. Joe Biden, in my opinion, cannot beat Donald Trump in 2020. He flip-flops on all of his policies. Apparently, he likes sniffing children's hair, which I know it's funny and it's memeable, or if that's even a word, but that's the problem with that, is that, politicians and politics and anything in terms of, any type of media coverage, like to nitpick. Any little things will of the image of the politician will directly affect how many voters he may get within an election, even if it's small things like, oh, Joe Biden's a creep. I mean, that's the whole point of the attacks that come from Donald Trump whenever he attacks politicians. When he calls Hillary Killery or Sleepy Joe, it sounds silly and it's stupid. Most people shouldn't even fall for that, but just those little, attacks, those little insults, it makes people wary of the other politician. It's a tactic, and I get the tactic. And unfortunately, Joe Biden is not going to be able to respond to those kinds of attacks from Donald Trump. His whole claim to fame, y'all, was being associated with Obama, and it's not going to be enough to defeat Donald Trump in November, in the slightest. Like I said, he's a reflection of the corruption in the DNC. That was my biggest problem. I'll be honest, and I regret not doing this in 2016. I didn't vote. I didn't vote in 2016 because it was between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and I get it. And now I know, trust me, that Donald Trump is the most incompetent president that we've ever had in American history, period. However, I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way to have to support a candidate that was being backed by the corruption of the DNC, knowing that Bernie Sanders probably was the better candidate for the party. And I'm seeing it again, but the problem is that we need to vote, y'all. We need to vote. We have to go out and vote. The country cannot stand another 4 years of Donald Trump. This is the reason why that even though Sleepy Joe, I'm using the insults just like Donald Trump is, and that's how I know it's working, is that even though Joe Biden, his policies are very bland, and honestly he's kind of just picked up different aspects of other people's platforms to create his own, and then take a huge chunk of what Obama did and just essentially input it into his own platform. The problem is that Donald Trump, like I said, is incompetent. He's alienating our allies. He's emboldening our enemies with Putin and legitimizing the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. He is essentially widening the gap of income. Listen, if you are a Democrat, if you are a liberal, even a progressive, and there's certain beliefs that you hold, that you know that Joe Biden still will at least consider a push because he's a Democrat, we have to solidify and work as a unit and as a team to get Donald Trump out of the White House. We cannot stand 4 more years of Donald Trump. We just can't. He is not able to bring the United States into the new era of prosperity. It won't happen. And, I'll say this to all my progressives out there. Vote for Joe Biden. And after 4 years, organize and create a new political party. It is very obvious that the Democratic Party has failed the progressive movement and will not input any kind of socialistic tenets within their party. They won't do it. Create your own political party, a true, strong third party. And I know what you're thinking. It's going to hurt the Democrats. It's going to splinter completely that base. I disagree. Throughout history, whenever there's new enlightenment of different political agendas or political ideologies, you always get new political parties. The progressive movement in the United States has enough backing, has enough people to create its own party. Create the party. But right now, vote Joe Biden in and get Donald Trump out. Period. This is Real with O'Neal, y'all. I appreciate y'all listening. I'm on all social media at Real with O'Neal. I'm on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the description. But I want to do something a little bit different, y'all. Going forward with my videos, I want to highlight music, talent, and culture, not only in the DFW area, but, whoever wants to gain a little more publicity and a little more promotion of their music. So I want to show y'all 23 Cups, Time and Place. This is a dope song. I love the vibes from it. That's Big Bro. I'm going to show y'all this music video. Y'all can check him out on all streaming sites and YouTube. 23 Cups, time and place. I'll see y'all later.
23 cups. Time and place. Give me a time and place. We got no time to waste. You know I want you, girl. Time and place. Give me a time and place. You know I want you. You know I want you. You know I want you. You know I need you. Oh yeah, this love thing, girl. You know it takes two. I got solutions to solve your problems. They see you doing better things, so they keep calling. Oh baby, that's how you feel. Okay, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh baby, that's how you feel. Okay, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Time and place, give me a time and place. We got no time to waste.